How to make Paul's nutritional cookie squares. Before attempting to make these cookies, I would suggest watching this video through to the end. That way, you will know what ingredients and what equipment you will need for this process. My ingredients can be swapped and chopped and changed according to your taste. I have made these cookies with as little as 4 ingredients: sesame seeds, sunflower seeds, brown fibre and honey, but in this video I am showing my more elaborate version, which has 33 separate ingredients, all of which have some nutritional benefit. You'll need the following items and ingredients. I'll not list them all verbally here. I guess you can just pause the video at any point and check the list. The herbs and spices and the nuts and seeds can just be swapped for whatever you've got in the house at the time. As I say, I've made this recipe with just 4 ingredients at one point, which was I was trying to replicate a sesame snap. A lot of the sesame snaps that you buy in the shops have glucose syrup added, which I want to try and get away from. I want to use more nutritious forms of sugar, at least some kind of sugars that have some nutritional benefit, rather than having everything refined and everything stripped out. So I think I possibly made them at one point with molasses. I'm not actually going to list any quantities with this recipe. This is more about getting the nutrients, getting the ingredients into the right consistency. So mix the dry ingredients first. Here's the organic porridge oats going in. Bran. Milled linseed. Unsweetened desiccated coconut, sunflower seeds, pine nuts. So here we've got ginger, cracked black pepper, allspice, cinnamon, nutmeg powder, parsley. That's the parsley going in there. That's the oregano going in. Turmeric, 2 teaspoons of turmeric or thereabouts. Oop, a bit more. Apparently the pepper makes turmeric bioavailable, so that your body gets the benefit of the curcumin, which is the supposedly anti-carcinogenic properties of turmeric. Cinnamon, allspice, whoops, lid's fallen in there. Good handful of cracked black pepper, plenty of ginger. Not coming out very well. This calls for drastic action. Pumpkin seeds, cacao powder, 2 heaped teaspoons, 1 heaped teaspoon of spirulina, maca powder, coffee beans. I'm going to include those in the nuts because they need the grinder. So I've got chia seeds, good cupful of those. Coffee beans going in the grinder. macadamia nuts. I think they are blanched actually, but they're the only ones I had. I try and avoid blanched nuts because you just get a bit more nutrients if you have the outer covering on the nut. Got the walnuts going in. Okay, grind all that up for maybe 30 seconds or so, give it a good shake, and in it goes into the bowl. This is now, it's not really a dry ingredient, it's more moist and oily, so that will help to bind the dry ingredients together somewhat, but you will also need the honey or the maple syrup. Well, there's various things you could use actually as a binder. There's tahini, there's molasses, there's honey, there's maple syrup, coconut oil, extra virgin, cold pressed coconut oil. I've also used avocado oil in the past, which gave it quite a distinctive flavour. Not to everyone's liking probably. So here we've got walnuts going in. Red skin peanuts going in there. Again, grind that up for 20 seconds or so. In it goes. Now, coming up with the name cookies was quite hard. I don't know what to call these things really. They started their life as a sesame snap. Literally, that's what I made, a sesame snap, but without the glucose syrup. I used honey and maple syrup or molasses or something, a bit of a mixture. But then I thought, why not just throw in loads more ingredients and make them into just a nutrient dense snack that you can just turn to anytime you're feeling like you want a bit of a munchie on something sweet. Okay, so the last of the grinding sessions here. We've got the hazelnuts. We've got the pecans. And we've got pistachios. Pistachios here are unshelled. Slightly cheaper, I think, to buy them unshelled. I won't bore you here in the process of shelling them. Stir this and mix it up thoroughly. Really want all those dry ingredients to bind with the oil of the nuts, but then, as I say, you will also need something else to coagulate all that stuff, all that good stuff there, all those nutrients. Give that a bit of a sift through your hands there. I'm actually choosing to use the method of having two bowls here, just transferring half the mixture. This is actually a large batch that I've made here. This will make about 4, possibly 5 baking trays worth of cookies. Okay, so here's a jar of tahini. I haven't really looked for this in many places, but Sainsbury's is where I got this from. Tahini is just a paste made from sesame seeds. That's all it is 100% sesame seed paste, nothing else in there. The honey's going in there. Possibly the only reason why these cookies are not vegan is because of the honey, and some people probably pick me up on that. Not that I'm claiming this is a vegan recipe, it's just that ideally I would like to use less honey. I do use quite a lot of honey, and I have that as a sweetener instead of sugar. I never use any refined sugar, hadn't for a couple of years now. I've substituted sugar in anything with honey or maple syrup. maple syrup. This is grade A maple syrup. I've just actually learned recently that grade B maple syrup, whoa, wooden spoon just did a backflip, is actually a more robust maple flavour and has more minerals in it. So I'll be looking out for grade B maple syrup next time. Stirring this stuff up here does require some considerable elbow grease. Give that a good stir, and you want the consistency to be quite like a fruit cake. Okay, so out comes the greaseproof paper. Cut enough of that to cover the tray with a good inch or so overlapping all the sides. If you dollop some of the mixture onto that, it will just stop the greaseproof paper from sliding around. Okay, roll down until flat. The cookies should ideally not be much thicker than a digestive biscuit. Use a knife to spread any extra mixture into the corners or any thin parts and re-roll like so. Roll from the centre outwards to the edges and then to the corners, and then I like to just fiddle around and try and get those corners a bit better. There we go, just use the knife to cut the excess off there and stick it in a place where it's more needed. When you think you have it nicely spread out, if you just use another sheet of baking paper on top, let's give it one final roll. Just trim off the excess paper because we don't want that to burn in the oven. We don't want it to get in the way of the other baking trays. And I just put a few snips in the corner so that it doesn't break the corner up when you try to take it out of the baking tray later on. Pop into the oven for 10 to 12 minutes at 180 degrees C or until they are just turning golden brown. Okay, while this was in the oven, I prepare the other trays. As I say, the mixture I made makes about 4 to 5 baking trays. That's quite an excessive, this is quite a heavy session of making these. I've been making these now for about 2 years. I think they've been slightly different every single time I've made them, with a slightly different taste. Everyone who's tried these seems to like them, and they have asked me can I have some more of those. So I think I'm on to a winner. It's best to undercook them if in doubt, then cool them and see how they are. They can always be rebaked for longer, but burning them on the first time round can result in quite an expensive waste. Allow to cool and cut into squares or chunks, ideally with a pizza wheel. Alternatively, they can just be broken into odd shapes. I could waffle on for ages at this point about the horrors of ultra-processed food and the fact that so many of these cereal bars and products in the shops that appear to be healthy, when you look into them, they are just contain so many sugars that have been processed, and sometimes sweeteners and all sorts. You've got to be so careful. If you're trying to avoid this stuff, it's hard. So I figured just go back to basics here, get raw ingredients, mix it all together, make it to your own taste. Delicious. Very, very good. Very good. So thanks for watching. I really do hope you enjoy making these and enjoy the results. Good luck. Thanks for watching the video and see you in the next one.